is Austin Gillis from the class of 2001, and I am the president of the Oglethorpe Alumni Association. On behalf of the Alumni Association and its board of directors, I would like to thank you all for coming to our event tonight, and I would like to welcome you to our Shining Moments Awards ceremony and to Oglethorpe Alumni Weekend. It is wonderful to be hosting this event in our brand new Turner Lynch Campus Center. In the short time that we have had this building, it has very quickly become the living room of our campus. I brought a friend that I graduated with by one random weeknight and showed him around the place, and he says, you know, it's like Emerson, only there's students hanging out here. So we are very proud and glad that you guys could make it. I especially want to extend a special welcome to tonight's honorees and to their families and to their guests. During this weekend, I look forward to celebrating with outstanding alumni, enjoying the company of old friends, picnicking with professors out on the quad, enjoying a cup of coffee in our brand new Starbucks, and learning more about the core curriculum. We're going to have some events this weekend that are focusing on the core, which of course is such a central part of what we do as a university. Ladies and gentlemen, the core is turning 70 years old this year. Now, before we get started, I'd like to briefly recognize my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, the President Advisory Council, and the Alumni Board who are here this evening. Will all of those individuals please stand and be recognized? Thank you all for coming, and thank you for your service. I would also like to recognize former President Dr. Manning Patillo, Honorary Chancellor of the University and the 2010 Talmadge Award winner. Dr. Patillo, will you stand and be recognized? And I would also like to take a moment to recognize our Alumni Relations Director, Barb Henry. Barb, of course, was a student here, and she has been working here at the university for 27 years, the last 11 of which she has spent as the Director of Alumni Relations. And though she'll remain a part of the university, we'll be losing her to the great American Southwest soon. And just wanted to take a moment, Barb, to tell you how much we love you and appreciate everything that you do for the university. In planning this year's Alumni Weekend, the Alumni Board, we were looking for a companion to the theme of our capital campaign, Our Time. And when we were talking about ways to play off Our Time, It's Your Moment just seemed to hit all of the right notes. In this university's 179-year history, so many special moments have taken place here. For many, your moment might have been inspired by our amazing faculty. For many, your special moment may have occurred on a field. For many, it occurred on a stage. But most likely, Oglethorpe University, our campus, has had a special role in your moment and in your life. Over the last decade, our university has continued to strengthen its reputation as a place where extraordinary students and faculty come together to marry exceptional thinking with hands-on opportunities in one of the world's major cities. Every OU student has the opportunity to build professional skills through internships in Atlanta, and our students make a difference, and they go out in the world to inspire others to make a life, make a living, and make a difference. I hope you will take the time this weekend to reflect on your time at Oglethorpe and to remember your moment here on campus. We are going to begin our presentations this evening with our classmates who have excelled on the court or on the field or on the course. Of course, I'm referring to the basketball court, the soccer field, and the golf course. We're talking about the Athletic Hall of Fame. There are only 179 athletes and 4 individual teams who have been honored by the university since our Athletic Hall of Fame was established 52 years ago. The athletes honored include many from the early days when Oglethorpe was a powerhouse in football, baseball, and later basketball. The first class of Hall of Fame athletes included a baseball Hall of Famer, Luke Appling, from the class of '32. And tonight, we add 4 names to that special list. I would like to call Chris Summers to the stage to make a special induction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Summers, as Austin mentioned. I am part of Oglethorpe's class of 2003. During my 4 years here at Oglethorpe, I was a very proud member of the Stormy Petrel golf team. And tonight, it is my honor and privilege to recognize 2 distinguished athletes, men that I am proud to call my teammates. But before I do, I've been asked to recognize an incredible bit of news that's cause for celebration not only for Oglethorpe, but also for Division III athletics as a whole. 16 years ago, Arnold Palmer helped establish the Palmer Cup, an international collegiate event between golfers from the United States and Europe. The teams are comprised mostly of players at the Division I level, and as such, no Division III player has ever represented the United States. That is until this summer, when Oglethorpe junior Anthony Macaglia heads to England to play for Team USA. Anthony, will you please stand? At the very least, as a representative and alum of the Oglethorpe golf team, Anthony, I'd like to say congratulations, and Oglethorpe Stormy Petrels past and present wish you the best of luck. Anthony's achievement is another example of a legacy of success built by the Stormy Petrel golf team. The beginning of that legacy can be traced back to men like my teammate Robert Miller in the class of 2003 as well. I met Rob in August of 1999 when we moved in together as freshmen. Rob was shrewd, confident, quick-witted, and after a while I learned that you really didn't want to get into an argument with Rob because quite simply he was going to win. But when I reflect on our time as teammates, I come to realize the impact left by Rob's quick wit. Overthinking is a big problem in golf. Golf can be as complicated as you want to make it. We'd be in team meetings together and one of us would show doubt, try to complicate a hole or a shot or some part of our plan, and then Rob's instinct for rebuttal would kick in and produce something like this. Look, this hole isn't hard. You just hit 3 wood at that oak tree. The fairway's a mile wide. It's really easy. And Rob's game also echoed that kind of statement. Nothing but straight. Robert Miller, middle of the fairway, every time, guaranteed. And that accuracy helped Rob amass quite a career at Oglethorpe. The bio in your program lists Rob's many accomplishments here at Oglethorpe. I'm not going to list all of them, but I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight 2 facts. As an individual, Rob finished all-conference 3 of his 4 years, finishing 3rd individually his freshman year, which is quite an accomplishment in and of itself, and then to do it again as a bookend his senior year. And his teams at those conference tournaments, even better. Rob never left the conference tournament without a championship. 4 years, 4 championships. You can't do better than that. Before I call Rob up to the podium, I'd like to share a memory. It's personally my favorite memory of Rob. We were in Columbus, Ohio for the NCAA championship in 2003. And during the final round, Rob and I's last round as collegiate athletes, I remember walking up the 17th hole. From the 17th fairway, you had a very good vantage point of the 18th green, which was our final hole. All the Stormy Petrel parents surrounded the 18th green, and even from a distance, there was a clear buzz about the green. The buzz was about Robert and the fine round that he was about to complete. I can still vividly remember, hear, and see what I'm about to say and what happened next. Robert struck his putt, held his finish, watched the ball fall into the cup, and lifted his arms in celebration as the crowd erupted around him on the 18th green. He made a great putt to finish his last round, a 3 under 68, to cap a great career. I love the memory because I find it incredibly poetic. Rob, as it turns out, that wasn't the last time you'd be applauded at Oglethorpe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robert Miller to the Oglethorpe Athletic Hall of Fame.
Very much, Chris, for the introduction. I can honestly say that I had enjoyed living together for that first year as much as you did. And I think that forged our relationship for the 4 years on our trips when we had to stay, hotel. It was definitely a good foundation started there. That was one of the best parts, obviously, being on the golf team was those relationships and friendships that you make with your teammates. So I definitely want to thank all of the teammates that we had, especially Trent, Chris, who are here, and all the other ones who couldn't make up today. Definitely want to thank my parents for traveling every tournament. You guys are there, supporting us, getting us warm clothes when Trent long sleeves and it was 30 degrees outside. But all this support, that was really, really important, and I think made success that much more enjoyable. And of course, thank Coach Owen, Coach Decker, who's here as well, for all of your instruction, help, guidance, everything that you did to make our team successful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm back. Perhaps with my great challenge of the evening, trying to make a case for Trent Herb as an athletic Hall of Famer. Maybe the best place to start is by reflecting on the things that I learned as a teammate of Trent's. I learned about consistency, or more specifically with Trent, the ability to repeat the golf swing, but not in the way you'd think. We played a practice round in Pinehurst, and for some reason, the driving range was set up roughly 30 yards behind a row of benches. Trent decided he was going to attempt to hit balls that went under the benches on the ground, that is. To do this, Trent would take a full swing with his driver and hit what golfers refer to as a worm burner. To be clear, to the non-golfers in the room, worm burners, well, they're not pretty. No one hits a worm burner on purpose, it's always a mistake. But Trent was hitting them on purpose, consistently, and honestly, it might be more difficult than hitting a pure and good shot. From Trent, I also learned to defend my position no matter how difficult, but not in the way that you'd think. Trent was great at playing devil's advocate. He'd defiantly argue a ridiculous position just to get a rise out of us, and it always worked. Example, Trent's sand golf course. Trent argued that the evolution of golf, possibly in the Middle East, would be sand golf courses. Nice combed sand fairways, oil sand mixture on the greens, and then came this question. Trent, how do you get around a sand golf course? You can't drive a cart. Without missing a beat, Trent replied, hovercrafts. Hovercrafts. I'm a bit scared to say and fully admit that two-time defending Masters champion Bubba Watson is working with Oakley right now on hovercraft golf carts. It is not a joke, you can look it up. Okay, if you've looked at Trent's bio, you know that I'm stalling. If you look at his bio, you'll notice a few accomplishments and that he accomplished quite a bit here as an athlete at Oglethorpe University. Multiple conference championships, both as an individual and as a teammate. Multiple All-American honors. And during his senior year, Trent earned the Jack Nicklaus Award, an award for the best player in the country. Not the region, not the conference, the best player in the entire country. In terms of legacy, Trent represents a big shift on the Petrel golfing timeline. Trent arrived at Oglethorpe in 2000, and the Stormy Petrels have qualified and competed for every single NCAA championship since. Earlier I mentioned an international collegiate competition. Amazingly, Anthony is the second Petrel golfer to represent the U.S. The other, one Trent Erb. He donned the Stars and Stripes during the 2004 Fuji Xerox USA versus Japan Collegiate Golf Championship, another honor that is usually only given to one Division III player in the entire country. Even with my attempts earlier at humor and humility, there's no denying this statement. Trent had the most accomplished career of any player to graduate as a Stormy Petrel men's golfer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Trent Erb to the Oglethorpe Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you, Chris, for those kind words. And I can tell everyone here that over the last couple of days, just texting Chris back and forth about what he was going to say this evening, he actually went pretty easy on me. So I appreciate that, Chris. Good evening, everyone. And I'm just so honored to be standing in front of you all this evening as one of the newest members of the Oglethorpe Athletic Hall of Fame. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Oglethorpe Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for giving me this honor. Again, I am incredibly humbled and I feel incredibly blessed to be up here in front of you today. Coach, man, this is, 14 or 15 years ago, we sat down and had a conversation after, I guess it was in an Atlanta junior golf tournament, it must have been. And you were making your case for me to come to Oglethorpe because I wasn't fully committed yet at the time. And you said, it went something like this: Herb, you're coming to Oglethorpe, and here's the reason why. Number one, you're going to play in every tournament that we play in. And I remember these words vividly. Number two, you're going to win golf tournaments. And number three, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. And here we are today. Coach, thank you for steering me down that path. It means everything. Secondly, thank you to my teammates, Chris, Robert, Robert Fink, who couldn't be here this evening, Corey Gardner, who's here, Joe Green, also is not here this evening, but I wrote in my bio that I'm now a member of the Hall of Fame with 3 other members, and I can't imagine let's rewrite that in a couple of years. I think it's going to be 5. And I look forward to coming back every year for these ceremonies. So thank you to my teammates, not only for supporting me throughout those years, to push me, to challenge me to be a better player, but to be a better man as well. So thank you guys. Players' families, I mean, we were always the best represented team there. The Millers always were there. My parents were always there. The Gardners, Finks, the Summers, it was amazing. So to all of you that are in attendance tonight, thank you as well for supporting us. Thank you to my parents. Without you guys, your support through all this, it's meant the world to me. And my brother Robert as well. You caddied for me a couple times coming up, and I think you might have been hit by a club or two along those lines during my early years. And you're the best man at my wedding, and you know how I feel. So, and finally to my wife Beth, who, without going to Oglethorpe, I can thank Coach for this as well. The connection that Oglethorpe brought me to you. Thank God that I did not know you at Oglethorpe, which is a very good thing. But we connected after that, and you mean the world to me, and I love you so much. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Class of 2000, and I'm here to help induct Amy Flynn into the Athletic Hall of Fame for soccer. And I'm pretty excited about this. Amy and I were roommates during our time here at Oglethorpe, and of course I've got a million funny stories, but the one that stood out to me when I was thinking about this and this night is Amy didn't even come to Oglethorpe to play soccer. She came here to play basketball, and she was only going to play basketball. And so the rest of us have been on campus for, I don't know, a couple weeks, and we're beat up because we've been through preseason, and it's 120 degrees on the field, and we're just dying. And so we had sort of realized that we didn't have a goalkeeper during that time. And being that Amy was our roommate, we somehow fished out that she was a goalkeeper. And the next thing you know, we're coming up with some kind of bribe, and I think the bribe went like this. We will give you a case of beer if you will be our goalkeeper, just this one season. And it worked. And it wasn't even a good case of beer. It was like Natty Light or something. It was terrible. But anyway, I think it worked out, and I just have so many great memories and stuff. And Amy's parents are here tonight, and one of the other memories that will always stick with me. Amy's mom and her parents, Amy's from Seattle, or thereabouts, and Amy's parents used to come, quite often to see soccer games and basketball games and different stuff, and that's a long flight, and Amy's mom and her dad both were just, the best people you'd ever want to meet, and I will never forget it. In fact, sometimes I think I'm having a flashback, even now when I'm playing soccer, Amy's mom yelling, "Boot it," on the field, and I love that, because they just loved to come watch her play, and they were so enthusiastic with us, and it was just a great experience. So I'm going to hit a couple of Amy's highlights just briefly. Amy led the conference with 157 saves as a sophomore and was voted first team all-conference, which is insane. That's an insane number of saves to have in one season. She was second team all-conference performer in 1998 and 1999. She was named to the all-region team as a senior. Also, Amy played basketball and golf at Oglethorpe, and she didn't just play. I mean, she started, she was at critical part to both teams, which I just think is amazing. She traveled every weekend, was always gone. I honestly don't know how she did it all. I mean, but she did, and she excelled at everything. So the other highlight that I think is worth noting is that after Amy's senior season of basketball, she was named Oglethorpe's Female Athlete of the Year, and I think well-deserving. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Amy Flynn and present the Athletic Hall of Fame award to her.
Thank you, Christine, for that introduction. For the record, I hung on to that case of beer for 3 years until I was 21. Held up really well. I'd like to say thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for this great honor, and to everybody else who worked so hard tonight to put this event together. My parents, Lynette and Roger Myers, who spent their fall weekends for 12 years watching me play soccer in the very rainy Pacific Northwest. Mostly without complaint, even though it still isn't my dad's favorite sport, and my mom thinks the offside's really stupid. Thanks to my husband, Matt, who's been my partner in life for the last, 18 years, to his parents, Kermit and Fenella Flynn, who were always supportive of me. They drove 4 hours, I think, one time to watch me play soccer in 30-degree weather in Indiana. And they didn't even get to see their own kid. Being back on campus with Matt and my boys has confirmed that yes, we are getting old. I'd like to thank my coaches, Coach Yelton and Coach Lockstanfer, that I had when I was here at Oglethorpe for their dedication to the program, especially Coach Locke, who coached both the men's and the women's team at the same time. I'm not sure how he did it, but he did. As Christine said, I didn't come here to play soccer. Oglethorpe Grapevine was in full effect, and the first night on campus, Missy Rodersheimer and Kristen Bowie found me and convinced me to come out to practice the next day, and I still consider it one of the best decisions I've ever made. So lastly, my teammates, we started as strangers, became lifelong friends. They made all the hard work worth it. I don't remember the score of a single game I played in Oglethorpe, but I could stand up here all night and tell you stories about the women I played with. The greatest gift Oglethorpe has given me has been the memories and relationships I developed while I was here, and most of them started on that soccer field. The last thing I want to say, my friend Lori Terry played basketball with me at Oglethorpe, and she passed away a few years ago unexpectedly, and her mom wrote me a congratulations note for this event, and she said for me to enjoy this moment and all the moments in my life, and that's what I'm going to do, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Carter. This is Tom Norwood. We were coaches when Jim Hogarth played his 3 years, actually played 4 years, 1 year under Coach Ben Holster and 3 years under Coach Norwood and I. Jim Hogarth cannot be here tonight because he's been fighting cancer for a couple of years, and he's had a bone marrow transplant a couple of months ago. So the doctors won't let him get out and fly or go into a crowd. So Coach Wayne Dobbs, who was our coach at Belmont in 1964-65, is going to accept the award for Jim Hogarth, and we'll ask him to come up a little bit later on. I made some notes, but unfortunately I forgot to bring my glasses. So they're not any good. We're going to have to wing it. And the one good thing about getting a little older is that you lose a little memory, but that's all right. That's a good excuse for losing things. Jim Hogarth came to Oglethorpe in 1965 because Wayne Dobbs, who was coaching at Belmont at the time, did not have another scholarship. So he sent him down to Coach Penholster. Penholster signed him immediately, and when I looked at Jim Hogarth, I thought he was going to be the fullback for Georgia Tech. 6'1", 190, 195, a very imposing person with a physique. And the girls thought so too, but for different reasons, I'm sure. Anyway, Jim was a starting guard for 3 of his 4 years. He actually started 2 games as a freshman for Coach Penholster. And then for the rest of his 3 years, he was a starting guard playing with All-American Doug Alexander and Mike Dahl and some other players that are in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to talk about Jim's statistics tonight, but more or less his contribution to the basketball teams his last 3 years. His sophomore year, the team had a great record, but unfortunately, we did not get invited to national or regional tournament. So we invited ourselves to the National Invitational Tournament, the NIT. We wrote them a letter and said, hey, you need a small college there to represent the Division II, which was what it was then. It was called College Division, but that's basically Division II. Unfortunately, they declined us. I don't know why, but they did. The next year, the team won enough games to be invited to the regional tournament, and the first team we played was a team called Kentucky Western. So remember that name. In the consolation game, we did win that one, playing Bethune-Cookman, who was a very tall and very fast team, but we outplayed them and came in third in the regional tournament. Jim's senior year, as captain of the team, we got invited to the Southern Regional Tournament again, and this time we were playing against Old Dominion and Mount St. Mary's, 2 teams which are now in Division I. Because of and I bring this up because of Jim's contribution as a defensive player. Jim was one of our best defensive players during those years. Excuse me. My mouth gets a little dry when I start talking about things of this nature. Anyway, in the regional tournament, the first night we played Old Dominion, and we had a great scouting report from Coach Noah Wood, and the 4 guards actually, with Jim leading the way, just totally took them out of the game. Took their guards out of the game, and we went on and won that game the first round. Second round, Mount St. Mary's had 2 6'10", 6'10" players, and 6'6" guard, who went on to play in the NBA. But at any rate, they were just bring the ball down the court, and our back line was like 6'2", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". So they just bring the ball down and lob it in, and those two big players would just turn around and put the ball in the basket. Fortunately, Duncan was not allowed in 1969, but at any rate, they were leading us at halftime. So Jim Hogarth came to me at halftime and says, Coach, why don't we pick these guards up at center court and make it a little more tough? I said, damn, that's a good idea. I'm glad I thought about it. So we did at halftime, and we were losing at halftime. At halftime, the 2 guards, Jim Hogarth and Earl Blair, along with Doug Cole and David Hensford, went out and picked those guards up at center line. It totally destroyed their rhythm, and it won the game for us, in my opinion, because we were able to do what we did. So we won the regional tournament. We went on to the national tournament, and guess who our first opponent was? Kentucky Wesleyan. So they defeated us, but they went on and won the national championship that year. So we came that close. And the reason I bring this up is because of Jim Hogarth's defensive abilities, his imposing appearance. I mean, he would intimidate you just guarding you. And, you know, he did a fantastic job along with the rest of the team. So tonight, we induct Jim into the Hall of Fame. Coach Wayne Dobbs is going to accept for him because Jim's in Seattle, Washington, in not a hospital, but an apartment built next to the hospital for that purpose only. But Jim says in June or July, he's going to get on an airplane and come down and see us. So we'll be looking for it. But on behalf of the Oglethorpe administration, the athletic department, the selection committee, Athletic Hall of Fame selection committee, his coaches and players, we welcome Jim into our Hall of Fame. Coach Wayne Dobbs.
Against Kentucky Wesleyan, we had them 12 points down with 8 minutes to go. Some of our young players got a little, they couldn't play man-to-man against us, so the young players sort of, when they went to a zone, we tried to pull them out and everything. They got a little bit frisky and we ended up losing the game. And just to be blunt, we were a better team than Kentucky Wesleyan. We should have won the national championship. You know, one thing I've always said about Oglethorpe people, once a stormy people, always a stormy people. And we got a bunch of people that we have luncheon with every 3 or 4 months now. Coach Penholster comes. Jim Hogarth was a competitor. There have been a few competitors that I met in my lifetime. Coach Penholster, Billy Carter, Wayne Dobbs, and Jim Hogarth. And I want to just say that he was the captain on my baseball team too, as catcher. And he just took care of everything that we had a game plan. He implemented it, and he gave 110%. And if the players ever let down a little bit, he'd get on. But they wouldn't do that because they respected him for that. Wayne's going to say a couple words, so I get out of here. Or maybe I will talk for another hour. Well, you guys loosen your ties and your take off your shoes. If I did this, I'd get jerked off of here by a bar. But thank you for listening to me anyway. Here's Wayne.
I kind of insisted that Tommy get here and say something because of all the stormy Petrills I've ever known, he's the stormiest. There are a few things in life that brought me pleasure, like helping a youngster find his way and then go on and take advantage of that opportunity and have an excellent life as a result of reaching out for someone who was looking for a place to apply his talents. And we had lots of good athletes at Oglethorpe, none like the two that here to my left, but Jim would want me to certainly pay his regards to those two young ladies. He was quite the ladies' man. I think he set the campus abuzz when he arrived. I did make the call to Oglethorpe to recommend that they try to deal with getting Jimmy down here, and that's why he asked me to accept the award for him. It sort of came out of the blue. I was not expecting it. But he is a young man, got a tremendous smile, great physique, as Billy has pointed out, and a real fiery competitor. It's the kind of guy that you've got to have if you're going to have a winning team, even if you're playing tiddlywinks. You want a guy who's competitive and somebody who will be committed to the team concept and exert himself in those areas. I talked with Jim this morning. Didn't sound very good, but he assured me that he felt better today than he did yesterday. And one of the things that he wants to do when he gets well is to be here next year and join in this ceremony and these presentations to show everybody how much he appreciates being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He also wants to express to Oglethorpe what his time here academically and socially, athletically has meant to his career. He pursued a career in the sales and marketing field, and he just couldn't say enough good things about what he got here during his 4 years. So with that, I welcome Jim Hogarth into the Oglethorpe University Athletic Hall of Fame, and I hope you will too. He's an outstanding young man and extremely deserving of this opportunity.
Thought Jim was going to get it. Well, I like this. I hope the lights don't go out.
Will Larry Shadows and Mark DeLong please join me on the stage? Tonight we celebrate the class of 1967 and the class of 2003. Tonight we are honoring these classes as they have stepped up to help the university be more successful by encouraging their classmates to participate in the annual fund campaign. The class of 67 led all others in annual fund participation by class percentage in 2013 through 2014. Meanwhile, in our young alumni category, meaning classes that have graduated within the last 10 years, the class of 2003 had the highest participation by percentage. So please help me in congratulating Larry and Mark on the great achievements from their classes. I think the slide there said it very well. Thank you to everybody who has participated in the annual fund, and thank you for your continued support of the university in our campaign. From our humble beginnings in Midway, Georgia, Oglethorpe University alumni and faculty continue to make a life, make a living, and make a difference all around the world. And every year it is an honor to learn more and more about the great things that our alumni are doing in the world. And it's great to take a moment to recognize these individuals and celebrate their great accomplishments. Their contributions to Oglethorpe and the community bring honor to our Alumni Association and to our university as a whole. So I thank you all for welcoming the award winners, and we'll start with a presentation from our 2008 Young Alumnus of the Year, Ashish Thakur. Ashish.
Good evening. Sorry I'm a little late. I run on Indian Standard Time, which means when we have a dinner party and my wife says come at 7, our American friends come at 6:30 and our Indian friends come at 9. I'll do my best. I'm not a good public speaker because English is my second language. So my name is Ashish Thakur. It means blessings in Hindi and marijuana in your language. I will keep this short because Cliff Foster has become a dear friend. He'll be my boss pretty soon. I'm the 2008 Young Alumni winner. You can tell by the gray hair. But how many people, raise your hand if you've met or known OK Sheffield? Yeah, see, look, I mean. So just a round of applause for you know, him and I and Cliff, the three of us, it's really interesting. We have a lot in common. He's a banker. I'm what we call a recovering banker. Cliff is a future entrepreneur banker. But a little bit about this award. It recognizes graduates of the last 10 years, hence the word young. Leadership, inspiration, young, career, public service. I mean, if you turn your page to Cliff's bio, CPA, Ernst & Young, Harvard MBA. I mean, how the heck can you compete with that? Former future board of trustee and, alumni giver, right? Right, Cliff? So I'll stop there. I'd love to call Cliff up to the stage. Barb, did I do okay? Thank you. Please, Cliff.
Thank you very much for that introduction. It is such an honor to be here tonight. I actually heard about this award a few months ago from my friend Stacy Chavis. Stacy is on the Alumni Board, but we know each other from an outside organization. And, she called me and she said, "Hi, Cliff, this is Stacy. I'm calling on behalf of the Oglethorpe Alumni Association." I said, "Stacy, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't think I can get any more money." But that's not actually the purpose of the call. That's not quite how that call actually went. But in any case, it is such a pleasure and an honor to be here. In all seriousness, I'm here today really just to say that it's easy to come back and to support a community that has supported you. And that's what I feel that Oglethorpe is. It's a community. And every accomplishment that I've had since being from here, I can attribute in some way to this institution. I am from a very small town in Louisiana. I would tell you the name of it, but I promise you've never heard of it. And coming here to Oglethorpe opened up so many doors for me. It opened me up to the city and to so many opportunities in my career. So to the faculty and staff here, to service mentors, I would like to thank you. I'd also like to thank the young alumni who were mentors to me while I was here, like Ashish, to my classmates and friends who, through their own actions, inspired me and who always told me to do my best. To my family, who's here tonight, my mother, my father, and my aunt who are here with me. My father, who always tells me, don't talk about it, be about it. And of course, my mother, who told a little kid growing up in the middle of nowhere that his dreams were valid. Thank tonight to introduce this year's recipient of Oglethorpe's School Bell Award. He started his career here as a professor in 1980. Immediately made an impact with everyone on campus, students and faculty. He was known not just for his academic excellence, but for his classic one-liners, like the one I started with. There are a lot of them. I'm sure we'll remember a few. Principle and interest are just like Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie would never hurt anyone. Pizza in a cup. Come on, pizza in a cup? Come on, we gotta love that. My personal favorite, sunk costs are sunk. Thank you, thank you. I actually just used that in a meeting with a client about a week ago. They clearly would have an Oglethorpe grad. I explained it to them. They got through it. It was okay. Bruce wasn't known just for his one-liners, though. It wasn't his quips that attracted everyone to him. It was his continued dedication to excellence and to the Oglethorpe community. He was known, he'd often have students over to the house for academic discussions. He sat on numerous panels and committees. Really importantly, he tried to talk every student he met out of majoring in accounting. That was really an important function. I can't express my gratitude enough, keepers. Bruce has really been there for a lot of us for a long time. And one of the things that I most appreciate, he was the academic advisor for the Brothers of the Kappa Alpha Order, which I'm a member. We sincerely appreciated his guidance through the years, even though that guidance was typically, don't do that anymore. We still respected him, and we respected him so much that we actually inducted him into our fraternity in the early 90s and counted him as a member. Bruce is being recognized tonight for an award that has been given on an annual basis for the past, if I do my math correctly, but I'm not an accountant, so forgive me if I get it wrong, 54 years, since 1960, to the alumni or past or present faculty member who has most contributed to the field of academic excellence. And I have to tell you that it's not just academic excellence that Bruce has contributed to, it's to our lives. It's to the community at Oglethorpe. His continued involvement at alumni functions like this one just shows his ongoing dedication to the university and to the university's ideals. And with that, I'd very much like to introduce my professor, my friend, and my brother, Dr. Bruce Hetherington.
That is one handsome man right there. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Chris. That was a lovely introduction. Right back at you. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Well, thank you. I feel like a teacher. I say something, I expect a response. Now, 1980 is a very strange year for me. I was in the job market, and I applied at Oglethorpe University. Had never heard of it, no offense. Where is it? Atlanta. Okay, they have professional baseball there. That's a good reason. I'll apply. My dear friend Bill Shropshire interviewed me and hired me. I don't know why, but he did. Thank you, Bill. After all these years, thank you very much. I arrived here, and what most of you probably don't remember is the basement of Hearst used to be where the business division was. It was very different down there. I would walk into my office every morning, and the carpet would be soaking wet, and it would squish. And as bad as my office was, the office next to mine had, I think, about 3 inches of water constantly on the floor. ELS, how many of you guys remember ELS? Was up on the 3rd floor of Lupton, and in 1982 or 3, they left. And we got to move upstairs. And it was very exciting. The floors didn't squish when you walked across them. The roofs didn't leak. So it was a major step up. And we're still up there. And Dr. Shaw, if you try to take it from us, the answer is no. You cannot have it. Now, that was a long time ago. I look out in the audience, and half the people here I have taught. You're good kids. Thank you. One was so good I actually married her. But we won't go there. What was that, honey? 1996? 95? She remembers. I was only off by a year. Forgive me, I had a brain tumor removed about, what, a year ago? 2 years ago, and I'm still not on all 4 cylinders, so bear with me. I've enjoyed my life at Oglethorpe. I'm quick trying to do math. 34 years. 34? 34 years is a long time to be anywhere. How many of you guys have worked at one place for 34 years? I see 1, 2 hands go up. Those lights are bright and I can't see way in the back, so if anybody raised their hand and I didn't see, I apologize. But you guys are great. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Susie Curry, class of 65, and I met this fellow who's with me here in 1965 on the Oglethorpe campus. Last year we were up here to get this award, and so they said come back and please introduce this year's recipient of the Spirit of Oglethorpe Award. And I think I said then that I had learned a long time ago that Robert's going to have the last word and does all the talking. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him tell you all the good things about this year's recipient.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Spirit of Oglethorpe Award. Make a life, make a living, make a difference. But you can distill that into a little bit shorter word. Doing the right thing. Many of you understand that. In fact, most of them. I'm I'm going to take a leap of faith and assume that you're all literate and you've already read all this stuff, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Heather Goddard Clark did the right thing. She made the choice of choosing Oglethorpe. She made the right choice because Oglethorpe wanted her. Oglethorpe gave her a scholarship, and what she did was become a superlative student. She graduated in '03, taught for, I've forgotten how many years, had a medical problem, left the teaching profession, continued to think about what is the right thing. Well, the right thing for Heather is taking care of children at risk. So, once again, we go right back to that, doing the right thing. She formed a 501c3, Act Together Ministries, taking care of at-risk children. So, here we are. Heather Goddard Clark, recipient of the Spirit of Oglethorpe Award. I'm thrilled to be here to welcome her to this event. And I forgot, would you go back there to the table where the three ladies are sitting in some package that I have for this young woman. Heather, please come up here. Heather only thinks she knows what the right thing is. But I'm telling you, the last part of this news is that Heather is expecting a child. And that, my friends, is really the right thing. And what you're going to find out is that if you think that you've been taking care of at-risk children and you've been doing all of this good stuff, you don't have a clue. How wonderful doing the right thing is and having this child, raising the child. Now that, darling, is the right thing. And with that, here you are. I brought you a little present. I don't know what you know about the baby, but there's my present.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say thank you to the Alumni Association, and thank you to my husband who helped start the organization. He also does a lot of things behind the scenes to help with the organization. And I want to also thank Cleve Hill, who serves on our board of directors, and all the hundreds of donors and volunteers that made the organization possible. It really is amazing what you can do when you act together. And I'm just very humbled by this award. Thank you.
While a student, she assisted Marjorie McConnell, whom a lot of us remember, in the registrar's office. Sydney was a member of the Duchess Club, which is now, today, ODK. She was president of her senior class and was listed on Who's Who among students at American colleges and universities. She graduated magna cum laude in 1959, receiving both the Oglethorpe Cup and the Sally Hall Weltner Award for Scholarship. She continued her education at Emory, doing graduate work in history, but left after a year to marry Jack and raise 3 children. After her children were school age, Sydney went to work with Trust Company of Georgia, which is now SunTrust, as a teller. She later joined the bond department and then investment services. During these years, Sydney mentored Oglethorpe students in finance and banking. She retired from SunTrust as a vice president in 1996. Sydney has served 2 terms on the alumni board. She has been an integral part of reunion planning, chairing both her 25th and 50th class reunions. She's written numerous thank you notes for contributions to her alma mater. And in addition to contributing her time in these endeavors, she has been a Carillon Club donor for over 30 years. Please join me in thanking Sydney Mobley Moss for her extraordinary dedication to Oglethorpe.
When I was told that I was going to receive this award, the first question that came to my mind was, who's Talmadge? What Talmadge? Is it Betty, Herman, Eugene? Well, I looked it up and that's neither of the above. In fact, this Talmadge doesn't have a D in his name. It's Talmage. He was the second president of Oglethorpe University. The first president resigned when it became, when he was told that he could not flog the students who were above the softball level, so he didn't like that. During the 1850s, when Dr. Talmadge was president, he had very mixed feelings about what was going on in the South in particular. He was not in favor of secession, and yet this was his adopted Southland, and much like Robert E. Lee, he was just torn between because of the things that were going on. He did stay in the South, but he became very ill in 1862, possibly because of all the influence of the strain of what was going on in his life. Fast forward 100 years. I was a student here in 1955 to 59, and I have a lot of memories of the people who were professors and administrators here, and I just want to call some names. I'm sure some of you are old enough to remember them, but if you're not, y'all will look them up so you can see who they are. First is Marjorie McConnell, who was the registrar and for whom I worked for 4 years. Martin Abbott was the history professor and my mentor. Cheever Cressy, Roy Godwin, Stanley Doggart, Wendell Brown, George Seward, Donald Agnew, Arthur Beeler, W.A.L. Colburn, Leo Balancio, George Wheeler, Arthur Cohen, Harry Dobson, Pop Crow, Garland Henholster, Richard Reese and Von Forrest, and I'm sure there are others that I have forgotten or have left off my list. But thank you very much for this award. I really, really am grateful.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm not, in case you didn't see that picture, you know, Sydney and Belle in between two showgirls. It's going to be at the front page of our Alumni magazine. Comes out under the headline, "Can You Believe It?" Well, thank you for joining us tonight. This is one of my favorite events, and it's a treat to have it on campus. I'm not sure. I guess at some point we've had it on campus, but in my 9 years, a lifetime here, it's the first time we've been able to do this. First time we've had a building to be able to do this, and it's a treat to be with you tonight. As Austin mentioned at the beginning, we're in the midst of this capital campaign, which is we're trying to raise resources to support the university, support our students. The $16 million to build this building was raised from friends in this room. We've raised so far another $26 million, for a total of over $42 million we've raised in just 3 years, and we continue to go strong. And so you're always trying to think of things that could encourage people to contribute, to give back. And tonight, as I was listening to everybody come up and give these talks, I thought of this a brilliant idea of creating these T-shirts that would say "Our Time" and then would have a slogan underneath, and we would give them out and people would wear them. So I have 5 just these unbelievably inspirational quotes that we have on that shirt. It's amazing what you can do when you act together. Our time, the campaign for Oglethorpe, and have a nice read. Don't talk about it, be about it. Campaign for Oglethorpe. I just love that one. I don't think I can give any more money. Maybe that'd be on the back of the shirt. We'll give you a case of beer if you give to Oglethorpe. That could work. And this one, I don't know what this one says about the university, but I think it's my favorite. Thank God you didn't know me at Oglethorpe. Our time, the campaign for Oglethorpe. I think right there we got 5 who can run a campaign. You can get them in there. But this is always an extraordinary evening. It's wonderful to bring back so many people who, some of whom have stayed connected, some of whom have disconnected but have come back, and especially bring when they bring their family, I think, and they talk about their family and friends and how much when they think about Oglethorpe and their time at Oglethorpe, what they think about is their family and friends. So to our family and friends, thank you. We have coffee and dessert doing outside tonight. And before you leave, Barb, just come up 1 second if you would. I'm going to embarrass you just for a second, please.
Do I have to?
You have to. Otherwise, we'll fire you before you quit. There's an extraordinary number of people that come together and help put on this event. But this one really belongs. This one belongs to Barb as to so many things. And Austin said she and Dot are moving out to the Southwest for a few weeks before they move back. But we're not letting Barb go away. She's going to continue to work for us, to work the West Coast, continue to help us do events like this. We're in the process of trying to replace Barb, and you have to sort of say right off the beginning, well, you have to give that idea up because she's irreplaceable. So Barb, thank you for all you've done.